Okay guys, welcome back. In this particular video we're going to be looking at queries. What queries are, how do we use them, and how many different kind of queries there are. So let's go over that. In order for us to access the query screen, we need to go over here on the left hand side, click on it, this menu, and then the drop down menu will come down, and from there click on queries. And once you're there, right now you're going to see nothing if this is your brand new database and you only have one table. So in order for you to create a query, you can go to from the top where it says create, and then from there you want to click on where it says query design, and this will open up by default whatever tables that you have shown, and also any queries that you already have built up. So in this case, for this particular scenario, we only have one table which we created in our last video. If you didn't watch that, go back and watch that video. So I'm going to add this table by clicking on add, and then there you go. And another simple way to add a table to a query is by, let me delete this out. We can cancel that out. We can click right over here where it says show tables, and this will bring up the same screen that we have seen before. And then from there, depending on how many list of tables you have, you can just click on the one that you want, or you can pick more than one and then click on add. Another way to do that is you can, while this screen is up, you can go over here and go to tables, and then whichever table that you have on under your table screen, you can literally just drag it over here, and then there you have it. So there are three different ways to add tables to a query. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, so I'm gonna go back to the query screen, and then from there let's go from the top section of it where there are different kind of queries we can build. The first one is just to select the query, what is known as select query. So what this is going to do is it's going to pretty much show you what the information is based on what you have asked for in the query. So for example, I can click on the ID field and the username field without any filter or anything like that, and this is known as select query. If I click on run, it's going to give me the result of this particular query. So I'm going to click on run, and it's going to give me 3 records, 1, 2, and 3, and names associated with those records. And then what I could do is go back to the query design view by clicking on where it says right here view. I'm going to click on this, and this will bring us back to where we started. And followed by, which is the under the queries sections, there is another one called make table, and you probably guessed it by now. What this will do is it will create a table based on what I have in the query. So let's create one table. I'm going to click on this, and then it's going to ask, hey, do you want to create a table in the current database that you have opened here, or you can navigate down to another database that you have it on your network drive or somewhere else, and that way you can dump the data in there in that table. So what we're going to do is, for the sake of this particular tutorial, we're going to keep the table within this same database. So from here, what I will do is I will create a table called t temp, and that's the name of my table. I'm going to click OK, and then after I click on run, it's going to go and make that table. So let's go to the tables section now, and right now there's only one table that is called T data. So based on the query selection that I pick, in this case is make table, and once I click on the run button, you will see another table underneath it here that will say T temp. So let's do that. So it's going to ask, hey, are you sure you want to you're about to paste new records in there? And then I'm going to say yes, and it's going to go create that table. So here's this table. I'm going to open it up, and then there you go. I'm going to close this out. Nothing fancy, just different ways of querying queries. So I'm going to go back in here, And the reason why I don't see the query design thing anymore is because I'm under table. In order for me to go back to see all the queries, I need to go back to query section and then home, actually under design, and then there are all the selections. And the next one is the append query. What this will do is it will append whatever that you want to append. So in this case, what I will do is I'm going to go back to this table screen and I'm going to delete the first 2 rows, or actually last 2 rows. Then I'm going to delete them. So right now it's only 1 record. I'm going to close this out, and then from here I'm going to say from T data, if I go to design view and say append, I'm going to pick the same table, so which in this case is T temp, and then I'm going to drag the temp table in here, and it automatically recognizes it as a primary key. And then from there I'm going to say take all the information from T data and add it, or append it in this case, to T temp table, where the ID does not exist in here. So in other words, in T data we have 3 records which have 3 IDs, which is 1, 2, and 3. In T temp we only have 1 ID, which is number 1. So in theory, what it's going to do is it's going to add record number 2 and 3 into temp. So just to clarify that, so I'm going to open both tables. So this is T data, which has 1, 2, and 3 records, and then T temp has only 1 record. So in theory, what it's going to do, the append table is going to take these 2 records and add them in here. So let's do that. I'm going to close this out, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on this arrow, and I'm going to pick the second one, which says take all the records from T data and only those records from T temp where the join field is equal. So it's going to take all this and dump it in here, and to avoid any duplication, I'm going to add the T temp ID, and I'm going to say where this is null, meaning that ID does not also already exist in the T temp. So only it will add 2 and 3 record rather than 1. So let's see how this looks. So I'm going to go in here. As you imagine, like we talked about, it only added 2 and 3. So I'm going to run this by clicking on run. It's going to say, are you sure you want to do that? I'm going to say yes. And then if I go back and open up my T temp, then there it is. However, here's the magic when doing this way. If I go and run this query again, it's going to add 0 records because they already added the 2 records in there. So there you go. So that's the append query. And then last but not least, well, there are 3 more, and then let's talk about the update one, and we will talk about that in the next video.